What's going on, you beautiful people? Today we're going to talk about the #1 new gold making method video for all new players, returning players, and all of my beautiful subscribers. So let's jump on into it, and I'll tell you what I've done, and that is I've done exactly 1 hour of Battlegrounds, and in that time I have unlocked this amount of items, and also in this time period I have gotten 48,000 alliance points, 127. Now, why are we doing Battlegrounds? For those of you who don't know, 3 massive new sets just dropped into it. Dark Convergence, Plague Break, and Hrothgar's Chill. All of which you'll be able to find in Mournhold. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about why this is going to be a great gold making method explained video and go over our 3 basic criteria: reliability, profits, and market stability. And before we talk about reliability, let's look at what an hour of Battlegrounds has yielded me. I don't think so. This is exactly how much mail it's gotten me. I don't have any in my current inventory, so we're going to pull all of this out. That is the wrong item, unfortunately. That's not the new item either. So unfortunately, I don't think any of those items specifically were what we were looking for, but that's okay. We got the little pots to open. You never quite know what you're going to get. And I'm just double checking because it's popping up in the sidebar. Yep, all the old sets. Let's take a look at the pots. 1 hour of pots. We got 3 pots. And we got a beautiful statue. But unfortunately, not what we were looking for in here. And not what we were looking for in there. And, oh, a Plague Break shield. So this shield will be great to sell because this is going to be part of the new set. So that's great. Off to a beautiful start for this update. I'm going to just slyly put these transmutes in because I go through transmutes like a hooker goes through condoms. Or Plan B, depending on what type they are. Anywho, now, why I think this is going to be very reliable for you is actually because of the alliance point. So regardless of anything else that you get, because I put all of my alliance points in, 48,000 alliance points, for those in the alliance point video, and know that it's in itself is probably worth at minimum 24k, because you can at least guarantee half return on your alliance points. Guaranteed. So at minimum, right there, we're at 24k. This shield, because it's a new item, people were selling off-trait pieces for 30k, and the trader, we'll go look in the trader here in a second. So I would say, at minimum, we've just made about 70k this hour. And just the first hour doing it. And we didn't even do it the most efficient way possible. So, for reliability, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. It does lose points because it does require you to do Battlegrounds. And at the end of the day, Battlegrounds do require you to finish first or second to get the better rewards. And every time, the first time you do them on each character, you get more rewards. I actually did this all on the same character because I didn't want to kind of go through once for every character because I thought that would be a little bit of an unfair data extrapolation. So I didn't do that. So just to make that clear for you guys. And it also loses a point too because, you know, at the end of the day too, farming Battlegrounds is not always the funnest thing to do. So for me, about 70k worth of profit for the first hour. Now, my friend has done this, and in their first game, they pulled a Plague Break sword, sold for 150k, and it sold within 2 hours. And they have the same amount of AP gain, and they got other miscellaneous transmute crystals and everything. I don't recommend turning your transmutes to gold, but you have the ability to make probably upwards of 300k an hour, depending on your luck, even more, depending on the items you get. We'll talk about specifically what you're looking for here in the profits piece. And what better way to look at the profits piece besides going into the actual guild traders themselves. So here you can see this is the Hrothgar piece. The Hrothgar is probably going to be, it's hard to say what the more popular set's going to be. I think this will probably be potentially the second most popular set. It could be the third. I'm struggling to kind of gauge which of these sets will be the most popular. We'll take a look at Dark Convergence. Now, if you're ballsy, you can list this for 2.5 mil. Will this sell? Not entirely sure. But honestly, those gloves have a decent chance to sell, and that tells you everything you need to know about this update. That, I guarantee you, this jack will sell on Xbox NA based on people's willingness to want to try this set out. Because it's a new set, It's a new proc. It's going to be really fun for those people to use in proc Cyrodiil, because there is now no proc Cyrodiil, just to distinguish two of them. We'll go take a look at another beautiful guild trader who is now over here. Otherwise, Ashes has changed spots on me. Take a look. None are listed. Oh, that's interesting. And our convergence, none. But like I always say, every update on ESO has the ability to make a bunch of money, and you can make a bunch of money doing this method, which one I've already searched for. So we're going to list up our shield, and we're going to list that up. So let's talk about market stability and why this is going to be very good for all players, even if you're technically not even level 50 yet. So I actually put out a request for people to help me make this video. I got 8 people to respond to me. Only 2 people were willing to do Battlegrounds, the person who got that sword, and someone who unfortunately wasn't able to today, and then a couple other people who weren't able to today. But a majority of people just didn't want to run Battlegrounds. And that's a very common thing in the ESO community, is to not want to do specific types of content. In the second half of the video, we're going to focus on how you can easily run Battlegrounds and not hate yourself. What are the tips? What are the tricks? How you can do it efficiently. So number one way to do this efficiently is you will see that for me, this is white. If this is your first Battleground of the day, it's going to be purple. As I said earlier, I did this all-in-one character, which is something called ELO that not a lot of players know about. So basically, there is a matchmaking system for Battlegrounds that is attempted to put the higher tier players together and the lower tier players away from each other. Now, it's actually by character and not by any other metric, basically. So it's by your individual character, not your account at all. And basically, every time you win, it goes up. That's how I understand it. So it's basically like if you were playing a game of Seasons and you were slowly ranking yourself up, slowly. But every time you lost, I believe it actually stays the same. But every time you win, it then goes up again until you get to the upper echelon of players. So if you're using a brand new character, you'll be going against other people that make new characters. And that doesn't necessarily mean, or if you've never used that character for Battlegrounds, it doesn't necessarily mean that those people are going to be bad. It just means that they're not people who've farmed Battlegrounds religiously on that character, which could be good for you. Another kind of tips and tricks that I like to tell people is that first and second, you just need to play the objective. You see how this flag is white? You'll see these flags for pretty much all the objectives, especially for Crazy King and Domination. If this flag is a solid color, white, red, blue, green, purple, blue's not a color in there, but if it was blue, there's no outline on it, that means that nobody's standing on it or nobody's taking it, which means that you can mosey on over there, take that bad boy for yourself. So that's what I recommend to do for you and all you new players. Just play the objective. And even you seasoned players, play the objective. It's all fine and dandy to want to, to grind and kill people, but if you're coming third, you got to change your approach, because you're going to lower your chances of getting these better items. And especially if you haven't gotten your purple pot, you're just wasting time. I was able to also crank through 5 games of Battlegrounds. Now, you had noticed that there's a solo random and a random Battleground, which was better. I always queue for both. If you're doing it with a team, obviously you're going to have to queue random Battlegrounds. But if you queue for both, your timers will be shorter, especially if you also do this in a high play time. I did this at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, about 4:30ish. So if I were to have done it a little later in the day, I might have been able to play an extra game per hour, or if I did it on a weekend, I'd definitely queue a little faster. But also, too, this is also right when release happens, so I'm sure people are still like, I need to get in, I need to do this right now. So that's why I don't necessarily think that, my data was very off in that regard, but it was still kind of, iffy. So this is definitely going to be something that's going to be worthwhile to do for all players on all characters. So even if you're on a tank, a healer, a PvE DPS, I still recommend it. I was going against tanks, I was going against PvE characters. It's all viable. All you need to do is get first or second. It's honestly, especially if you're a tank, like there's so many game modes where tanks can do so well. They can sit on objectives, they can sit on the relic, they could take the relic, they could take domination points, they could take Crazy King points. Don't think, I only have a tank, therefore I can't do this. No, you can do it. And that's what I want to encourage on all my viewers, is that this is going to be the method for you right now. Every update, there's a massive chance to get gold. The last update, it was companion gear, and this time it's the rewards of the worthy. And just as a side note, you can also get this from doing PvE or PvP Cyrodiil, and you can get rewards of the worthy that way also. So basically, every time you get AP from any source, you get rewards of the worthy pots. So you could do that also. But it's usually difficult because of the time of day that I'm in right now. The campaigns aren't as full. And then you also rely on your team taking keeps or defending keeps successfully. As somebody who struggled a lot, I'm actually going to see if he is selling that, because I will yoink that if it's not already sold, because I watched one sell earlier for 45k in the Guild Trader. But it's probably already sold because I wasn't paying attention. But that's just a good example, too, for those of you who don't want to even participate in Battlegrounds. You can sit and merch the items. That's what I do for a lot of events. Like for the last event, I was merching Maelstrom's stuff, trying to flip it from Guild Traders and selling it in Zone or selling it in a Guild Trader. But that's all I have to say about this event, guys. Again, this is going to be massive for you. Please don't be discouraged. If you have questions, if you want tips on builds for Battlegrounds, I'll put them in the comments below for you. I don't want to blow up this video too much, but if you need it, I will do whatever I can to give you the information for you to succeed, as I always try to. I try to reply to every comment, and I think I have, when they're usually questions or comments or things that kind of warrant them. Sometimes they don't warrant them, and I'll just read them, but if you need anything, I'll be there for you. But other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next one, and I love you.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips, or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.